Welcome to the live. Welcome to the. Let's get into it. Let's turn that off. Yeah. You could be doing have anything you desire. Your only limit in life is your own imagination. You could think it, you could do it. If you can't think it, you can't do it. But you can think it, therefore you can do it. But it's gonna require you to start thinking on purpose. It's gonna require you to start choosing. You gotta quit just letting life happen. You gotta quit just letting life happen. You gotta start deciding what you want. You gotta get in the habit of telling your thoughts what to think and telling your feelings what to feel. What's up? What's up? What's up? You gotta take conscious control of your life. At least in the deciding part. Now the action part, it's a great thing to let the subconscious take over. And if the proper patterns are laid out to let those patterns run. But we gotta start consciously choosing what's going on and stop just doing what we always did and thinking what we always thought. Unless you want to and you're okay with having what you always had. If you want something different, it's gonna start with you thinking different. You could be, do, and have anything you desire, but you got to take time to desire it. And you got to work through those tears. Before you can have it, it's certain things you got to do. And before you can do those things, it's certain things that you have to become. You got to become a different version of yourself. So I want you, one, to ask yourself, who's the person that I desire to be? Who do I desire to be? Then the next question should be, what kind of thoughts do I need to be thinking so that I be that person on accident? If I thought these types of thoughts, I would have no choice but to be that person. Then you're going to start practicing those thoughts. Does that make sense? Who do I desire to be? And if I was this person, what type of thoughts would I be thinking? Okay, so if I just master those thoughts, that will leave me no choice but to be that person. If you're struggling with anxiety, you don't have to try to cook up anxiety. The thoughts that you're thinking, the things that you're focusing on are cooking up anxiety. So if you put new thoughts in place, if you put new focus in place, guess what? It's going to create new behavior. Stop trying to control your behavior. You cannot control your behavior. You can't control your behavior, but you can control your thinking. You can control your feeling. Understand that your feelings and your thinking create your behavior. By the time you get to the point of behavior, it's really too late. You've already neurologically, hormonally, and chemically made the decision. Now you try to consciously override your neurology, your biology. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Does that make sense? It makes so much more sense to discipline your thinking. It makes so much more sense to get well practice at stopping negative thoughts early on. Positive thinking don't work, and you're right, it don't work if you've let the negative thinking pick up so much momentum. You got to find a way to slow that down. Slow that down. It's not going to come to an instant stop. It's going to slow down, though. But you got to get clear about what you want. You got to get clear about what you want. Today, we're going to be really ironing out some of the nuances of the 5C process. We're going to really be ironing out clarity, calibration, confidence, competence, and consistency. Those of you who've been rocking with me for a while, are y'all starting to really lock in these 5Cs? Because when you first get introduced to the 5Cs, at first they make sense. But the 5Cs making sense is not what's going to change your life. Putting the 5Cs in practice is where it's going to really change your life at. So it's one thing to sit in here and listen to me for an hour and feel good, but are you taking those learnings? Are you taking those teachings into your day? Are you catching yourself in situations and going, okay, I see what's going on here. I need to get clarity about what I want. I don't want that. What would I rather have? Are you catching yourself applying the 5C method to your life? Because the 5C method is going to do nothing for you at a logical level. Understanding it is like listen, I understand how to change oil. I got the tools to do it. I got a place to do it. I know how to change oil. I don't. They do it so much quicker at the dealership. They got the lifts and they they do it all day long. I'm gonna take it to the dealership. Do you see how just because I know how to change oil don't mean that I do it. I let somebody else do it. Just because you know the 5C process doesn't mean you are doing it. Are you doing the 5C process? And scratch that because you're doing the 5C process even if you don't realize you are. Are you doing the 5C process on purpose? Because you require the 5C process to create anxiety. Bet you didn't know that. You require the 5C process to be depressed. Bet you didn't know that. 5C process is something that works in both directions. Like we gotta understand things like faith and the law of attraction and the law of vibration. These things work in both directions. Just like you could put your faith in your success, you can also put your faith in your failure. And it's gonna work no matter what you pointed at. What's going on, April? You put your faith in your failure, get ready. You finna fail. But at the same time, you put your faith in your success. You put your faith in your success, get ready because you're gonna succeed. And I need you to understand that, like, let's say you manifested money. You gotta understand you're gonna manifest the money through new ideas. The money's gonna show up through new relationships. The money is gonna show up through new circumstances, through new opportunities. Sometimes I think people just think the money gonna show up on they bed beside them. Like, no, you asking it is given, but it might not be given in the form that you expect. When I first started asking for abundance, when I first started asking for wealth, I got an influx of ideas. I got an influx of businesses that I could build. The money didn't just show up. The money started showing up through ideas and new relationships in my life. Okay? So don't think just because that thing isn't physically showing up that it's not showing up. It's gonna come through ideas. It's gonna come through new feelings. It's gonna come through new opportunities. It's gonna come through new circumstances. It's gonna come through what some people call coincidence. It's not a coincidence. You thought that thing into place, but you gotta keep thinking it in the midst of it. Now, if I get the idea and I stop like sitting in the energy that I was in when I got the idea, I get in problem solving mode. I done took myself out of the flow state. And I'm going, where's the money? God, like I gave you this idea. If you could quit focusing on the lack of money and focus on this idea that I gave you, the money would be there. And I'm just waiting on God going, no, you're not. I'm waiting on you. I created everything already. I created it all in 6 days. You're not waiting on me. I'm waiting on you. I gave you the idea, but you so distracted by your lack that you're not focusing on your abundance, which is right now in the form of that idea. Stop focusing on what you don't want. Stop focusing on what you don't want. Where the mind goes, the body follows. It is too expensive for you to sit there and focus on your lack. Listen, we call it paying attention. Your attention is a currency. Stop spending that currency on things that you don't want. Would you spend your money on things that you don't want? If you wouldn't spend your money on it, don't spend your attention on it. If you wouldn't spend your money on it, don't spend your attention on it. What do you want? Because you could be, do, and have anything you desire, but you got to focus on it. You got to come out of the old and focus on the new. Let's say this is what I don't want. If this is what I don't want, I'm going to have to put this down so I can pick something else up. But if I'm holding on to this with both hands, and every time somebody try to talk me out of it, I'm squeezing it tighter and I'm making excuses and I'm fighting for my limitation. Well, you don't understand. My grandmother did this and my father did this. And no, these are my markers. This is my trauma. These are my problems. And you don't, why do you want me to understand? Why you so busy trying to get other people to understand when the problem is you understand it too well? And a lot of times we feel like, well, if we could just get enough people to understand where we coming from, they'll feel sorry enough for us to help us out. That crap don't work on nobody but your parents. Like as a kid, it was often presented to you that if I can make a strong enough case, if I can show that I really, really, really want it, then my mom would get. Well, all the other kids have one. Mom, everybody is going. I'll be the only one. If I can get her to feel sorry enough for me, she would do it. Life don't work like that. Attraction don't work like that. There's no law of exclusion. There's no law of I don't want this. There's a law of attraction. To think about it is to call it closer. To think about it is to call it closer. You got to realize that not wanting to lose is not the same thing as wanting to win. When you don't want to lose, the focus is still on losing. You got to realize that not wanting to be poor is not the same thing as a burning desire to be rich. When the focus is on not being poor, every idea that you have has to pass through the filter of poor. Not wanting to be fat is not the same thing as wanting to be slim and ripped and healthy and having a thriving body. You got to take your attention off of what you don't want. You got to start asking yourself. You got to become the type of person. Let's go to the whiteboard. You got to become the type of person This you got to become the type of person who can go, I do not like that. And notice that, then ask yourself, what would I rather have? Let's look at Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was looking at, I don't like the state of this country. I don't like how people of color are being treated. I don't like it. Then he asked himself, what would I rather have? I'd rather live somewhere where there is equality. I'd rather live somewhere where everybody can be treated the same. I'd rather live somewhere where everybody gets to vote, everybody gets a voice. I want to live in a true democracy. And he started to focus on this. Now, most of the world was focused on this. It's not right. It's not fair. How could they do this for us? And how could they call themselves Christians as they do this for us? This isn't right. This isn't right. Martin Luther King crazy. They gonna kill him. Did you know at one point Martin Luther King was the most hated man in the country, and not just by white people? Did you know that? At one point, Martin Luther King was the most hated man in the country, and not just by white people, by black people. It was black people going, that nigga gonna get us killed. He needs to sit his loud mouth ass down somewhere. Do you understand what I'm saying? But he got so wrapped up in this. He ran the five C's. If this your first time kicking it with me, you might not know the five C's. Grab you a pen. He got clear on what he wanted. He got calibrated to what he wanted. What did the calibration process look like? Dreaming about it, dreaming about it, thinking about it, putting his attention on it. While everybody else was calibrated to this, Martin Luther King said, you know what? I'm gonna start calibrating to this. And as he calibrated to it, you know that the third C is confidence. Whatever you calibrate to consistently, you'll accidentally become confident in it. He got so calibrated to this that he became confident in this. So you got to understand, by the time he started giving those speeches, by the time he started organizing those marches, by the time he started organizing those sit-ins, he was clear, calibrated, and confident. So that's why other people thinking he was crazy didn't stop him. That's why the threat of assassination didn't stop him. That's why being the most hated man in the country didn't stop him. Because when you're clear, calibrated, and confident, you can really give a damn what other people think. When you clear, what's going on, Zenny? When you clear, calibrated, and confident, it don't matter if it's 7 people in this room or 700 people in this room or 7,000 people in this room. I'm not going to slow down my message because there's only 7 people in here. And if 7,000 people end up in here, I'm not going to get nervous and stop. I'm not calibrated to that number. I'm clear, calibrated, and confident. We're reminding people they could be, do, and have anything they desire. I need you to stop getting clear, calibrated, and confident in what you don't want because you're robbing yourself of what you would rather have. You are a creator. You create by accident. You don't have to try to create. Okay? When you feel disrespected, you don't got to try to desire respect. It's in your nature. I don't like that. I would rather have this. What you got to start doing is you got to start getting in alignment with what you would rather have. What most people do is they'll get disrespected and they'll accidentally create the desire for respect. But instead of aligning with the desire for respect, they sit there and argue with the person who's inciting the disrespect. You got to start taking control of your attention. You got to stop letting unnecessary, unproductive, going nowhere people have your attention. It's too expensive. You got to stop going back and forth with people. You don't got to convince them. You got to convince one person, and that one person is you. Your success is hinged on one person believing in you, and that one person is you. Stop trying to convince other people to believe in you. When you believe in yourself, when you start believing in you, let me tell you what's gonna happen. Those shoulders naturally gonna go back, your chest naturally gonna go out, your chin naturally gonna go up, and good ideas gonna start flowing to your head. They gonna be such good ideas that you don't gotta talk yourself into them. It's something you want to do. When I wake up in the morning, I can't wait to go live because it's ideas sitting in my head. It's a message sitting in my heart that I can't wait to share with the world. Okay. Now, if I'm distracted by what if they don't like it? What if nobody show up? I'm not even in alignment with my good ideas. Your good ideas are over there. Other people's opinions are over there, and what other people think about you don't matter. Let me tell you that. what other people think about you don't matter. Now, what you think about what they think about you, that has direct control on your nervous system. That has a direct control on your endocrine system. But if I never take the time to analyze what you think about me, it has zero effect on me. It don't matter if you think I'm ugly. If I'm not sitting there going, well, why do you think I'm ugly? I can't believe I don't okay, think that. I'm thinking about $25,000 a month. I'm thinking about influencing people all over the world. I'm thinking about building an international business. So you sit there and think about me, but I promise you I'm not gonna return the favor. What do you think about such and such? I don't. Sometimes people come in here, well, what do you think about Trump? I don't. What do you think about this? I don't. What do you think about Kamala? I don't. I'm thinking about building generational wealth. And I'm so wrapped up in what I got going on over here that everybody else stuff is invisible to me. If you want me to focus on what you got going on, you better book a session. You either better book a session or change your name to one of my kids' names and find a way to convince me to let you move into my house. But if you're not in these four walls, I don't got time to focus on you. Stop being distracted with other people's life. Busy people, productive people are so busy being productive that they don't got time to hate. Busy people give a damn about celebrity gossip. Busy people got other stuff going on. It's way more. My life is way more exciting than anything on that TV. It's some great stuff on TV, but this stuff that I'm building, this 5C process, dreams in action, I coach bosses, this new body I'm sculpting, is way more exciting than anything happening on that damn TV. What I got going on is way more exciting than anything going on CNN and MSNBC. And I'm so calibrated and confident to what I got going on over here that I don't need other people's life to distract me. I need you to start creating the life that you want. Because when you start walking in the life you want, it's a lot of other stuff that used to be interesting that can't even hold your attention no more. You're gonna start cutting people off on that. You acting funny. Laugh then, move. Like if I'm acting funny, what you upset for? Laugh. Get on. You're gonna lose this desire to convince people. But the reason you feel like you need to convince other people is because you're not calibrated and confident. You trying to get them balled in because you haven't fully balled in. When you fully buy into your dreams, you can give a damn if other people believe it. Like imagine this. Today is Tuesday. And imagine you know for a fact that today is Tuesday. And somebody say today Wednesday. And you say, nah man, today Tuesday. They say, how you gonna tell me today is Wednesday? You say, I'm telling you today Tuesday. They gonna say, man, look, today Wednesday, you stupid. Like you only gonna go back and forth with them so many times before you say, look, if you believe today Wednesday, enjoy enjoy your Wednesday, brother. And you and at some point you're gonna say, enjoy your Wednesday, and you're gonna go on and live your day knowing that it's you're not gonna argue back and forth with somebody when you know that it's like, all right, you got it. You got it. But when you don't know yourself, you think you could build this big. You're gonna try somebody say you can't build that big. Now you gotta convince them because you ain't even convinced you yet. But when you convinced you, I coach bosses is a stupid name. Okay. That just means you're not my target customer. Thank you for letting me know that. People pay you how I'm not paying you that much money to talk to you. Okay. Keep talking to who you've been talking to, but that's what it costs to talk to me for an hour. I'm calibrated to what I got going on, so I don't really care how other people feel about it. Now I'll take feedback. I'll take criticism if you're in my inner circle. That's another thing. Stop taking criticism from any and everybody. Stop taking criticism from people who ain't never built shit. Stop taking business advice from people who ain't never built shit. Stop letting the opinions of people who ain't never built anything sway what you thinking. You gotta understand, God gave you that idea. It's some people who done built stuff that's gonna have a hard time seeing the vision. You over there talking about like love you, granny, but you haven't built anything. Love you, uncle, but you haven't built anything. Now you trying to talk me out of building something. If you the first in your family to build something, you got to go find you some people outside of your family to talk to. I'm not saying that you got to cut them off. I'm just saying you got to quit talking to them about your business. Because let me tell you something: if you walk into a room full of sick people, they more likely to get you sick than you getting them healthy. But the thing about it is, when they start seeing your success, when they start seeing the growth, they're gonna say, "Baby, we always knew you was something. We always knew you was gonna do it." But you can't talk to them about it while you in the becoming phase. So we talk about this thing: be, do, have. Before you can have it, there's some things you have to do. And before you can do it, it's a version of yourself that you gotta become. Okay? Now this becoming part, that's where you get clear, calibrated, and confident. While you in the clear, calibrated, confident phase, I want you to treat that like the first trimester of a pregnancy. You ain't even really telling nobody. Anything can happen in that first trimester. You want to get into this second trimester of doing. This is where we go to competence. But when you first get the idea, I got this thing that I want to do, but before I do this thing, I gotta go back to school. I gotta get clear what school I'm going to, what program I'm gonna get in. Am I going to their day program? Am I going to their night program? What I'm gonna do with my children? What's gonna be my time to study? Can I do this? Can I convince myself that this version of me can do this? This version of me can do this. Okay, I can do this. But before I start talking to my mom, I'm thinking about going back to school. You don't even tell mom you think about going back to school. You say, "Hey, I start school on Tuesday." When you signed up for school, I signed up about 3 months ago. Now I done had 3 months to get clear, calibrated, and confident. Mama not finna talk me out of it now. Well, if I say, Mom, I'm thinking about going back to school, you got 5 kids. You work full time. How you gonna go back to school? How you affording it? She finna start stirring up doubts that you already had. She just finna start helping you water them. Get in school, and then they'll find out you're going to school when they see you on your way to school. I'm thinking about starting a business. You think about starting a business in this economy? You got that good job. Them people over there paying you all that money. You finna roll the dice and start a bit. You crazy. They'll find out you starting a business when they go, wait a minute. I heard of that company. You own that? Yeah. I did. Look at you. Stop talking to people. You ain't never heard a tree grow. But look around. You ain't never heard a tree grow. You ain't never heard a tree. Hey, I'm finna go get some more branches. Oh, and this is one of my favorite times of year. You know why this is my favorite time of year? Because acorns are all over the place. Next time you go outside, I want you to find you an acorn, and I want you to put that acorn in your pocket. And anytime you start doubting yourself, anytime you thinking about giving up, I want you to go in your pocket, pull out your acorn, and go. It's an entire oak tree inside of here. I'm so powerful that I'm holding a oak tree in between my two fingers. And if God put an oak tree inside of here, I can only imagine what He put inside of me. If God put an oak tree inside of this little old acorn, I know God put a few businesses in me. I know God put a few books inside of me. I know God put a few documentaries inside of me. Sometimes you just need that reminder. Sometimes you forget who you are and you need to remember. And sometimes you need to go inward for the clarity and not outward. Out there is finicky. Somebody be your biggest fan on Monday and be and can't stand your guts on Tuesday. Out there is finicky. So you can't measure your success according to what's going on out there. Even in here, I think it was Friday. Friday we had a room with 235 people in it. Today we got a room with 10 people in it. If I'm measuring my worth by what's going on in this app on Friday, I would have been on top of the world, and today I would have been down. I'm not gonna. I can't calibrate out there. It's too expensive. I got to calibrate internally. That's why I got to know what I want. That's why I got to get clear with what I want. And guys, we've added all of those replays. They've been added to a playlist, to a podcast playlist on a different platform. I got it on the bio. Y'all need to be listening to this stuff repetitiously. You hear it once, you go, "Ooh, that feel good. That makes sense." You hear it twice, you go, "Ooh, that feel good. That make a little more sense." But you hear it a few hundred times, you find yourself going, "Ooh, that's a 1C moment. I know what to do. Ooh, I'm in a 3C moment. I know what to do. Ooh, I'm in 4C and it feels good. I know exactly how to maintain it." I don't want it to get on you. I want it to get in you. You could be, do, and have anything you desire, but when you understand these principles, when you understand these steps, it makes the process so much easier to manage. Okay? Think about it. When you get in your car, let's say I'm in Dallas and I'm finna take a drive to Washington State. I understand that there's a distance between my driveway and my destination in Washington. But I also understand that it's not a never, it's a process. It'd be one thing if I was just driving and I didn't know how long I had to go, but I got a GPS saying, all right, we got 32 hours. All right, we got 31 hours. All right, we got 30 hours. And although it's a journey, I got this thing. I can feel myself getting closer. I know what I'm gonna do when I'm go there. I know I'm going there for a reason. So it's easier on the journey. But imagine if you was just in the car and you just had to keep driving. You're like, well, how am I know when I get there? It's hard to have faith when you don't know where you're headed. Am I going in the right direction? I don't know. You'll find out. What you mean I'll find out? Do I need to be going the other way? Maybe. What you mean, maybe? Get clear about where you're going. Get clear about where you're going and understand that you want the journey. You want the journey. Like imagine if you was getting ready to go on a vacation. And I would be the husband in this sense. Imagine you getting ready to go on a vacation and your husband just not excited. He go, so what we gonna do? We gonna leave the house, go to an airport, go to a hotel, do some stuff a few days, and we're gonna come back here. And you're gonna say, yeah. You're gonna say, well, we already here. If the point of the trip is just to end up right back here, why can't we just stay here? You say, idiot, that's the point of the vacation. The journey is the vacation. You'd be like, well, what? Why don't we doing it just to end up right back here? Let's just stay here. You're gonna go, no, we want to go on the vacation. You want to go through the journey of building that business. You know how I got so good at building businesses? Struggling to build businesses. But the next time I seen the struggle that I seen before, I go, oh, I seen that struggle before. I seen that struggle before. It's a problem with the conversion rates. This site only converting at a 3% conversion rate. If I could figure out how to get that conversion rate to an 8%, this business would thrive. Now I'm not just out here trying around and stuff. I know exactly how to look at a business and so the problem is right here. The problem is right here. But I got calibrated by starting businesses and having things not work out. Feedback is failure that you put a negative perspective on. Let's understand that. I said that backwards. Failure is feedback that you put a negative perspective on. Failure is just feedback that you didn't like. That's all failure is. It's not failure, it's information. Use the information and keep moving. Use the information. Failure is not a sign to quit, it's a sign to adjust. Okay? Failure, it doesn't mean give up, it means adjust. As hypnotists, when we're doing hypnosis, we got this rule where we say if what you're doing not working, try literally anything else. The only stupid thing you can do is the thing that you already did that's not working. The only stupid thing you could do is the thing that you already did that's not working. Stop doing that thing that's not working. Most people they do it harder, or it didn't work. Let me do it harder. Okay, it's just gonna not work harder. Let's get back to the 5C process. So we got clarity, calibration, and confidence. The fourth C is competence. Listen to me. Step four is not step one. Step four is not step one. I don't want you doing until step four is not step one. I don't want you doing until you get I don't want you doing until you get clear, calibrated, and confident. I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna build a business plan. Good luck building that business plan when you clear, calibrated, and confident. Without clarity, calibration, and confidence. And you're going, man, building a business plan is hard. Building a business plan is not hard. But when you don't got clarity, calibration, and confidence, yeah, you're gonna struggle to build a business plan. I'm networking, but ain't nobody, man, they not even talking to me. I think it's because I'm black. I think it's because I'm too young. That might be true, but I'm willing to put my money on the fact that it's because you unclear, uncalibrated, unconfident. My friend asked you what you did, and you said you were a public speaker. I asked you what you did, and you said you were an author. Somebody else asked you what you did, and you said you were a veteran trying to get into entrepreneurship. We don't know what to do. Or I asked you what you did. You said, well, man, I got my lawn care business. I do that over there, but I also do websites, and I also and I cater too. Like you uncalibrate. I don't even if I want to work with you, I don't know how to start. I don't know how to start. Get clear, get calibrated, get confident, and then start networking. Get clear, get calibrated, get confident, and then start building your website. Like we coach a lot of entrepreneurs. And some of these websites, I be a third of the way down the website. I don't know what you do. I'm like, do you teach financing? Are you selling me a journal? Do you like even if I wanted to give you some money, I don't know. It's unclear. Or and I tried them Google ads. That don't work, man. I burnt $500. I promise you Google ads work. I make a lot of money using Google ads, but you gotta to make them work, you gotta be clear, calibrated, and confident in what you got going on. If you click on something that say lose 30 pounds over the next 2 months, and then I land on a page, and it not only is talking about weight loss, but it's talking about anxiety, it's talking about nail biting, it's talking about 10 other things. I'm gonna think I landed in the wrong spot, and I'm gonna click back and go somewhere else. But if you take the time to get clear, calibrated, and confident, and then you build the websites, then you build the funnels, then you start making TikTok content, it hit different. Step four is not step one. I'm not saying that the doing is not important, but I'm saying before you do, you got to become. Before you do entrepreneurship, you got to become an entrepreneur. Don't skip this becoming step. I see so many people trying to do entrepreneurship when they can't even speak entrepreneur. What's your conversion rate? What's the conversion rate? Ooh, okay, that's part of why this. You got a great product, but you don't speak entrepreneur. What's your cost to acquire a customer, huh? Where most of your leads come from? Where you storing your leads at? You get to the last step and then get nervous. That's where the clarity, calibration, and confidence going. If we still get nervous, that means we got a problem with the being. Understand, most people's problem isn't with the doing. People rarely come to me and go, I don't know what to do. The problem is usually they don't feel like the type of person that can do it. But part of this becoming is getting clear on what I want. Like me, for instance. So my background is in clinical hypnotherapy. I can help people quit smoking, lose weight, quit biting their nails, PTSD, anxiety. I can't remember where I put my keys. I can work with professional athletes, IBS, like you name it, because essentially every problem is a thinking problem until you get into like chemical imbalances and stuff like that. And it's still a thinking layer to it. But essentially, any problem that doesn't have a chemical imbalance or a physical element to it, hypnosis can fix it. But this is why a lot of hypnotists are unsuccessful because they go out first off, they build their websites and they talking like hypnotists. They on there talking about, well, I'm a Ericksonian hypnotist, but I also start studying under the Capasonian state. Like, your customers don't know what that means, your colleagues know what that means, but your colleagues not the people spending money with you. So first off, you got to stop talking like a hypnotist and you got to start talking like somebody who's looking for hypnosis services. But not only that, they build these websites where they talking about everything that they do. They overloading people with. If I'm trying to quit smoking and you can drop me on a website that's talking about weight loss, nail biting, social anxiety, and all this, I'm finna click off, and I'm gonna go land on somebody's page to say I help smokers become non-smokers in one session. I'm like, oh yeah, that's clarity right there. This is exactly where I need to be. That's why the name of the newest leg of my business is I coach bosses. Very, very straightforward. I coach bosses. So when you still getting that nervous feeling, that's letting me know we got to calibrate deeper. We got to calibrate deeper. You got to think about it before you get nervous. It's something like that nervousness don't come from somewhere. It's some thoughts that's giving birth to that nervousness. Whenever somebody come to me and they say something like I'm getting nervous or I'm procrastinating, those are symptoms of the problem. Those are not the problems. The problem is the thinking that's happening that's creating those sensations in your body. Being judged for real. So let me tell you something. You don't got a problem with being judged. Because what if they say, "Hey, King Curls, man, that's my guy. That dude right there, he go hard. He don't miss. He don't ever miss." That's a judgment, right? But does that judgment make you feel uncomfortable? So it's not the being judged; it's the meaning you assigning to being judged. You see what I'm saying? It's not being like we don't react to reality. Our nervous system, and our endocrine system don't react to reality. It reacts to the story that we presented about reality. As hypnotists, a lot of what we do is this thing called reframing and setting new anchors. Somebody might say, "Man, I lost my job." I say, Did you lose a job or did you gain 40 hours a week to work on that business you was telling me about?" I never thought about that. Like, you got one more paycheck coming, right? Right. And so what about this? What if you pick up like some Uber Eats or something like that, pick you up something that you can just keep some money coming in. You got one more paycheck coming in, but in the meantime, we really using that time to roll out this new plan. And if we can get you two sales with this week, because we can raise the price on that product, what would that look like? A lot of what the magic is getting you under the influence of what you want. When you're under the influence of what you don't want, you think in terms of what you don't want. So right now, you don't want to be judged in a negative light. Okay, start thinking about it. How do you want to be looked at? How do you want to be viewed? I want you to get so consumed by how you want to be viewed that your nervous system and your endocrine system starts responding differently. Then watch what happens to those feelings. Zanny was sharing us a story about when she was in Dubai and she met this gentleman, and she just it just came out of her. But it was a certain amount of thinking that came before that she was able to confidently communicate her brand and the role that she played in her brand, and she was able to communicate it in a way where people like, I want in, I want to help. But if that thinking hadn't been done and she was shaky and looking down at the ground as she told that story, she wouldn't have had the result that she had. You could be, do, and have anything you desire, but you got to do it in that. Like, let's really break down that sentence. Where my eraser? Let's really break down this sentence. Buy a little stick, man. All right, I gotta keep an eye on time. I still got to shower, get dressed, and get to the office. I got a 1 o'clock today, but we look like we all right. And we're gonna put this in the first person. I can be, do. Are we on the board? Yeah, y'all can see it. And have anything I desire. Okay. Let's break this in as now. I can be, do, and have anything I desire. So I need you to understand, first off, there's no period right here. The sentence doesn't end at I can be, do, and have anything. There's no period right here. The period is down here. I can be, do, and have anything I desire. Anxiety is not desire. Sitting in the lack of it is not desire. Upset and complaining and explaining why you don't. Well, the only reason I don't have is because my dad wasn't rich like your dad. If I had a dad who let me get $30,000 straight out of college, I would. That's not desire. Hating on other people is not desire. Desire is desire. You remember what desire feel like? You remember like going to sleep the night before Christmas, knowing that it's things under that tree that you asked for. And you having a hard time sleeping because you can't wait to get up in the morning and open those gifts, and you don't know exactly what they are, but you know it's something you want. You know it's something that's desire. You remember the feeling of maybe going to school the first day. You got those new shoes, you got that new fit you finna throw on, and you I'm gonna kill them tomorrow. Man, I'm gonna fuck them up tomorrow. That's desire. You know that feeling when you went on a first date with somebody, y'all really hit it off, and it was just amazing, and you finna get to see them again for a second date, and you can't wait. What you smiling for? Nothing. I got a little date later. That's desire. You can be, do, and have anything you desire. Have you learned how to desire your goal? Have you learned how to desire your goal? Napoleon Hill said you gotta have a burning desire. Let's put some flames on this. My man Napoleon say you need to have a burning those flames in case you can't a burning desire. So you just need to change the essentially. Yes, it's other things that have to happen, but after you change your state of desire, it's gonna be the energy that creates worlds flowing through you. Like when I wake up every morning and I do these talks, I can do these talks not from a conscious place. If I was up here trying to consciously give this talk, it would suck. But the reason we could just get up here and we could flow, we could do this for an hour, we could do this for 2 hours, hell, we could do this for 5 hours, and we're not gonna run out of stuff to say. It's because I'm in alignment with a desire. I desire to remind people all over the world that they can be, do, and have anything that they desire. I desire to remind people your only limit in life is your own imagination. If you could think it, you could do it. Now, this desire came from a place when I first got into hypnotherapy. I realized that most of my customers didn't look like me. And the people who looked like me were scared of hypnosis because they thought it was something that it wasn't. When really, they being hypnotized by the bullshit they listen to and the shit they watch. You being hypnotized every day, you're just not hypnotizing yourself on purpose. And other communities realize the power of being able to tell your critical mind to shut up. Here's some new programming, and my own people did. That created a desire in me to let my people know, hey, you could be doing have anything you desire. You afraid like this one of the things that really puzzles me about my son. He's afraid of the wrong shit. Like he'll be afraid of something like the dark, but you might walk outside and catch him standing over the edge of 5 flights of stairs, and he hanging over on the like Ralph. What are you doing? Man? You afraid of the dark, but you dangling 400 feet? Like get your ass on this side of the rail. and, and that's how I feel about a lot of people. Not only in this country, in this world, like you're afraid of the wrong stuff, man. But let's get back to breaking this down. We can have that conversation another time. So you could be doing have anything you desire. Are you desiring? Okay. And then let's look at this. I can be. I didn't just write these in any random order. Do and have. Before you can have it, it's some certain things you got to do. Before you can have money, it's some certain things you got to do. I don't care how spiritual you are in this physical experience. Before the money comes, it's something that has to be done. Even if it come through a lottery ticket, it was a ticket that had to be purchased. It was something that had to be done. Be as spiritual as you want, but ain't nothing more spiritual than turning thoughts into things. Ain't nothing more spiritual than taking a desire for money out of your heart and putting it in your bank account. That's as spiritual as it gets. Taking the unseen and turning it into something you could taste, touch, feel, hear, and see. It don't get much more spiritual than that. Get the whole thing about Jesus being God, but he's not God, but he is God. It don't get much more spiritual than turning the unseen into the seen. Okay, so before you can have it, it's some things that got to do. Before you can have a successful business, a certain level of doing that has to be done. But before you do those things, you got to become a different version of yourself. What's going on, D? I saw this one quote not too long ago. It said, it didn't take me a long time to build a successful business. It took me a long time to become the version of myself that can build a successful business. There's this young lady I was coaching. She said it took her 10 years to leave her husband. I had to inform her, it didn't take you 10 years to leave your husband. It took you 10 years to get fed up. It took you 10 years to say enough is enough. It took you 10 years to say nope, 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 nope. This ends now. But once you became that person, it took you 10 seconds to leave your husband. it don't take 10 years to do anything. It don't take 10 years to make a decision. It take you 10 years to become the version of yourself that's comfortable with standing in that decision. So sometimes the becoming takes time. But once you do the becoming, the doing flows naturally. Once you do the becoming, you can't help but to do the doing. Once I became the motivator, once I became the inspirer, I get sick to my stomach if I don't do this. I gotta do this. It's not something I gotta do it, but I gotta do it like I gotta eat. I gotta do it like I gotta drink. It's not like I gotta do it or I'll start it. If I gotta do it or I might not, I'm gonna die. If I can't do this, I honestly don't want to be here. This is what I want to do. But if I was trying to do this doing without reading those books, without getting those certifications, without doing the thinking, without doing the stuff on myself and seeing that it works, if I was trying to do the doing before I did the becoming, then I would be struggling on the doing and I would be convinced that I wasn't a good hypnotist. I would be convinced that the market was oversaturated. Like we get so creative. We can come up with all types of good excuses why it's not working. I must have been a horrible person in my past life. Shut up. You didn't do the becoming. And I know it's not working because God is punishing me because in my past life I was. Do you do past life regression? Can you take me back to my old life so I can fix all your karmic debt? Follow you right here. It's right here with you. People get creative over figuring out reasons why it don't work. It's not working because you didn't do the becoming. It's not because you black. It's not because you too young. It's not because you a female. You didn't do the becoming. Are we clear? Your nervous system and your endocrine system isn't acting in a way that's allowing you to do what you want to do. You got to retrain your nervous system. You got to retrain your thinking. You got to retrain your endocrine system. Then you're going to be able to do the doing. Okay? And this is what this is the part that we really just started to tell people. If you go into our classroom on school, you'll notice that we got a course called the being, we got a course called the doing, we got a course called the having. And people just not getting to the point where they're making it to the having court, where they have making it to the having portion. And what they're going is, hey Jay, it ain't nothing inside of the having. If you do the being and you do the doing, the having takes care of itself. If I be dope hypnotist and I show up and I help people and I show people how to connect the dots and I show them how to get results and they start getting results, the money I don't gotta beg them to give me money. People go, man, I need to book a session with you. I don't care how much it costs. I want to be on the. I want to work with you. PTSD can make the nervous system flawed, but the nervous system can make PTSD flawed. If it work in that direction, it work in that direction. Okay, for sure, Danae. For sure, for sure. Like think about it. If magnetism can create electricity, electricity can create magnetism. If vibration can create, if friction can create heat, heat can create friction. Okay. If it work in that direction, it work in that direction. So if PTSD can affect the nervous system, guess what? The nervous system can affect PTSD. If you go on my YouTube channel, you can find a few videos about what we do with PTSD. Yeah, it's right there in that sentence. I think. I think I'm still trying. Like your nervous system don't react to what is; it react to what you tell it. It's reacting to what you tell it. We got to start telling the nervous system something different. So, are we understanding this sentence? That's you. I I can can not will can. God gave you God gave you free will. Like acorn don't have that free will. Acorn can't be nothing but an oak tree. You, my friend, man, you could be anything you desire. Anything you desire. Okay? So I can. Now, if you really bold, you're gonna change your can to a will. And those people who willing to change their can to a will, those are the type of people who would really love working with me. Like Yasmin just made that change. I can and I will. Those like this hat say I coach bosses because you read my hat and go, what do you mean you coach bosses? Who is a boss? So who have you coached? You not my client, baby. Cause my my clients know that they the boss I'm talking about. Like so that right there, I love that. I will be, do, and have anything I desire. But before I can have it, understand there's certain things I have to do. And before I do the doing, understand there's a version of myself that I need to become. So I don't focus on the doing. I focus on becoming the version of myself that does those things naturally. Like when you hear like of a Kobe Bryant, of a Michael Jordan, and you hear about their practice regimen, all of that happened right here. Now you find somebody who to skip this part and they trying to emulate a Michael Jordan, they might do it for a season. But I doubt they even make it through a season. Like Mike, you gotta understand, Michael Jordan was built in his mind. It wasn't built on a court. He created a version of himself in his mind that had no choice but to get out there and do those things. Like, have you ever watched old Michael Jordan highlights? And sometimes he'll make a crazy play, and as he running back down the court to the other end, he'll shrug his. He don't even know how he did it because he didn't do it. The man that he became did it for him. Larry Bird on the documentary was talking about, man, sometimes I would watch Michael and I go, that's not Michael, that's God in a Michael Jordan costume. When you do the becoming, that's when God could put on. And like sometimes I'll be watching the live replays to edit them and I'll say something that I'm like, ooh, that was good. That wasn't even me. That was God in the Jay Shaw costume. I've let others motivate the broken system, but focusing on what I want is the key. Focusing on what you want repeatedly. Like focusing on what you want one time isn't going to rewire your nervous system. You got to learn how to sit in that vibration while it's not there. Like let's look at Martin Luther King. Channeling exactly. Martin Luther King was sitting in the state of a country where black and brown people were not being treated fairly. They couldn't vote. They didn't have rights. They couldn't eat in certain places. They couldn't go to certain schools. He was sitting in that, and instead of focusing on it, instead of calibrating it, he said, "I got a dream that one day my children can go to school with these children, and this wouldn't." And he started calibrating to what wasn't there yet. And you got to understand, this part is done in secret. This part is done in secret. My son's at an age where he really loves sports, but he loves to. He don't like to practice. He like to perform, and I'm constantly trying to work into him that hey, most of the work that you do in an athlete is gonna be done in the backyard by yourself, and he only want to practice when somebody watching him. Like he wants to play soccer, so it's certain drills. Like he wants to play soccer, so it's certain drills run the drills if somebody watching him. If you're not watching him, he don't want to stay. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna watch you. I'm gonna spend some time with you, but to get as good as you want to be, you need to be doing that several hours a day. I'm not gonna sit and watch you practice. People don't watch you practice. You gotta practice on your own. You gonna have to get back here and put you some headphones on, get in a vibe, and just learn how to practice. Because the becoming, you don't get an audience when you're doing the becoming. Now, when you start doing the doing, that's when the audience, that's when the cheers and stuff showing up. But you got to get comfortable with doing the becoming on your own. His mama go, why you can't just sit out there with him? Why you can't just get your laptop? Because he got to learn how to do the becoming when he don't got company. He has to learn how to lock in and be willing to become even when nobody is patting him on his damn back. That's why a lot of people think their business not working because people not cheering it. Bro, do you know how much work probably happened behind the scenes with Uber before you knew Uber was a thing? You know how much work happened behind the scenes with Amazon before you ever knew Amazon existed? Nobody not gonna be patting you on your back in the beginning. But if you do the becoming in the beginning, eventually you get to this stuff called the doing. And that's when people start showing up. He was an overnight success. Yeah, forget about those 10 years that I spent reading every book I could get my hands on and spending hundreds of $1,000s on courses and information and certifications. Yeah, it was very much an overnight success. You got to be comfortable doing this becoming for you. This becoming has nothing to do with anybody else. That's a you. And that's what I'm explaining to my son. Those guys you watch on TV, like Messi and these other soccer players, I ain't saying they daddy went ever in the backyard with them, but it was times where they dad was at work doing what he had to do, and they was still back there in the backyard practicing because there was no way they would rather be. Guys like Steph Curry that's shooting 1,000 shots a day. I promise you, his daddy not sitting there for all 1,000. He not doing that for his daddy. He doing that for him. He's doing it because that's something important to him. You got to do this becoming on your own, and you got to get comfortable with not getting pats on the back. But I will be, do, and have. If you just do the being and the doing, this having piece will take care of itself. Anything I desire. Okay? Is that making sense? And while we on this, I want to also explain there is no such thing as as far as attraction is concerned, as far as vibration is concerned, there is no exclusion. Okay? Exclusion doesn't exist in the law of attraction. Okay? So you gotta understand that when you say I really, 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 really want this thing, and when you say I really, 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 really don't want this other thing, as far as vibration is concerned, they mean the same exact thing. To focus on it is to pull it closer. Even if you're fighting a war against it, you're pulling it closer. Even if you're trying to wrestle it down to the ground, you're pulling it closer. You got a choice. Are you going to work on the problem or are you going to work on the solution? Are you going to focus on the desire or are you going to focus on the absence of the desire? What are you going to focus on? Every problem is a thinking problem. Every problem is a focus problem. I done told y'all the story several times about the cleaning business. I had a cleaning business that was doing $25,000 a month before COVID hit. When COVID hit, everybody fired us. Calendar went empty. And I was not desiring my desire. I was pissed off. I was angry. I was mad. It was unfair. How could this happen to us? Why are they showing all this scary stuff on the news, hypnotizing these people? Pissed off. I was angry. I was mad. It was unfair. How could this happen to us? Why are they showing all this scary stuff on the news, hypnotizing these people? People so dumb. They be out here buying all the toilet paper. Like I was under the influence of what I didn't want. And when I'm under the influence of what I don't want, you got to understand, I only get ideas that align with what I don't want. And I'm taking action. I'm trying stuff, but the idea, every idea that I got is passing through the filter of what I don't want. So when it got to the point where I couldn't afford to be there anymore because I was living out of my savings account and I needed to get more money coming in, I say, okay, I gotta become something different so I can do something different, so I can have something different. In order to become something different, I had to change my focus. What do I want? I want my business thriving again. I want work for my employees so that they can feed their children and put food on their tables. I want to be a successful business owner. I want to be the cleaning company that makes it through this thing. I want to be the cleaning business owner that other cleaning business owners call and go, hey, what y'all doing over there, man? I want to be the guy. I want to be the guy that they call. Within minutes of getting under the influence of what I wanted, aha, stop marketing the cleaning business as a luxury cleaning service. Start marketing the cleaning business as a disinfectant service. Such a simple idea, but such a grand idea. Like profoundly simple, but simply profound. People not interested in luxury right now. They interested in being safe. They interested in this. Stop marketing a cleaning company as a luxury service and start marketing it as a disinfectant service. Within 3 weeks, we was booked 3 months out. We had a waiting list. We went from no customers to saying, "Hey, we we ain't got no room on the schedule." We went from no customers to hiring profusely. But what happened? I changed what I was under the condition of. When I was under the condition of, it's not fair. How could this happen to me? I didn't have access to my best ideas. But when I said, what do I want? I want to be the guy. I want to thrive in business. I want to have work for my employees. I want to be the guy that other cleaning business owners are calling and saying, what are y'all doing over there at Made in Spokane? How are y'all thriving? Can you help us thrive like you? I want to be the North Star to other businesses. Sitting in that mindset, using my will, that's what you use willpower for. You don't use willpower to control your body. You use willpower to tell your mind, don't think about that, think about this. Put that down, pick this up. That's what you use willpower for. And when I controlled my thinking, the good idea found me. Like, guys, I own a lot of brands. I coach bosses, dreams in action, abundant living coaching and hypnosis, successful stoners. We got a lot of brands. I didn't consciously create none of those brands. Creators create, that stuff found me. That stuff finds me because daily I take time to discipline my thinking. I take time to discipline my mind. Sometimes you'll just catch me throughout the day and I'm just sitting there and I'm smiling. My girl go, what you smiling at? I'm like, if I explain it, it's gonna take me out of the vibration of what I'm nothing. You're not just sitting over there smiling. I'm like, I'm not, but explaining it when it don't exist yet sucks all the fun out of it. And trying to get other people to see it when it's not here yet, it nothing. But I'm just getting in my imagination. I'm saying, who if I was the most confident man in the world, how would I stand? How would I sit? If money wasn't an object, how would I walk through the store? How would I walk? Like I'm just getting in my imagination and I'm getting under the influence of what I desire. And as I hang out in that space, good ideas find me, exciting things find me, money finds me. You got to hold it in your head before you hold it in your hands. And you do yourself a horrible disservice when you try to hold something in your hand in your hands that you haven't yet learned to hold in your mind. Practice hold is nothing that you force to happen. Okay? I don't want you locking down and going, I'm gonna do this come hell or high water and I'm gonna do it. If you just use your mind in a certain way, you get to the point where you can't help but work on your business. You can't wait to go to the gym. You want to go to the gym, but it's not you using willpower to make yourself build a business. You using willpower to fall back in love with your business. Hey, any of y'all ever did the work of falling back in love with your spouse? Like maybe y'all been married for 15, 20 years, and somewhere along the lines, maybe taking care of the kids, y'all just lost touch of each other, and y'all had to do the work of purposely falling back in love with each other. It like it's not a It's not the like you. I might take you out on a date, but it's not the taking you out on a date that's going to make me fall back in love with you. It's me consciously. It's me using my willpower to say I'm gonna focus on the 90 things that I like about you instead of the two things you do that really piss me off. I'm gonna choose to focus on the things that because it's things that I'm attracted about that are there. But I'm so wrapped up in because most couples they it's 20% of the thing that's not working. 80% of it is going marvelous, but they argue about the 20. It's one or two things that they argue about all day long. Rest of the marriage is running smooth, but eventually that 20% spills over into the 80% because that energy. So like you can have five things and you can have four things in your life that are going phenomenal and one thing in your life that's not going so good. Now, you can focus on this one thing to the point where you destroy the other four, or you can focus on these other four to the point where you kind of just loop this other one into what's working. It's the same way with getting new habits in your life. It's the same way with getting new goals in your life. If you got a sickness in your body, your kidneys is failing. As uncomfortable as that is, you got skin, the biggest organ in your body that's working just as it should. You can see, you can taste, you can touch, you can smell, you can hear. It's I know it's easier said than done, but if you can get in alignment with everything that's working and not spend all your time focusing on the one organ that's failing, you set yourself up for much better results. You set yourself up for because you gotta say you constantly making new sales. You constantly making new. I think every 7 years you are a completely different person because it's just a new set of sales there. But the sales that you're making are being made from under the influence of what are you focused on. So are you creating new depressed sales? Are you creating new energized sales? Like every cell, every fiber of your body is following your mood. You can focus on the one or two things that's not working, or you can start giving attention on one of my mentors, Dr. Kappas. He would have his clients do this thing, especially when he was working with people who were depressed and different things. One of the things he would have them do is go through life and just consciously acknowledging things that they like. They would see a sunset, they would go, I like that. They'll see the moon sitting in the sky where it's one of those pretty colors, they'll go, I like that. They'll have one of those days where they're going through traffic and it's like red lights just can't catch them. I got four green lights in a row. I like that. And he would have them doing this, just doing this thing. I like that. I like that. I like that. And people started getting better just by consciously acknowledging. I like, man, I woke up this morning and the sun was already up. I didn't have to beg, plead, and pray for it. The sun was already up. I like that. I went into the gas station this morning to get me a coffee. There was no line, there was no wait. I walked right in. I went to the register and the guy said, don't worry about it. I like that. I got to the gym this morning. The bench that I wanted was empty. All the weights was there. I didn't have to go dig around and find other weights. Everything I needed was there. It was like somebody had showed up before me and did the exact workout that I was doing today. They had everything there that I need. I like that. I like that. I went to the gas station this morning. I got gas. I didn't have to think about is there enough in the account? Can I afford to fill it up? I scanned the thing on my phone. I pushed the lock thing down. Went in the gas station, got what I needed, and came back out. I didn't know if it was gonna cost $40 or $50 or $60 to fill it up. I didn't care because there's money in the account. I liked it. It's things in your life that you like that you just not acknowledging. It's things in your life that's working out that you not acknowledging. Take time to acknowledge those things because it's gonna change the way you feel. It's gonna change the way you be. And when you change the way you be, you accidentally change the way you do. And when you change what you do, you accidentally change the way you have. Now let me ask you something. Do you think LeBron James was trying to become a billionaire? Or you just think do you think he was just trying to be the best basketball player he could be? Do you think Michael Jordan was trying to become a billionaire? Or do you think he was just trying to be the best version of himself that he could be? Do you think Muhammad Ali was trying to be somebody who he's dead and gone, but we still talk about him? There's still movies being made about him. He's still an icon. His name still sells tickets, even though he's dead and gone. Do you think he was trying to have a legacy that lives forever, or you think he was trying to be the best boxer that he could be? You see how when you do the being causes the doing, and when you do the doing, the having satisfies itself. Now, if Michael Jordan was just trying to become a billionaire, if he was just trying to have billionaire status without being something and doing something, we probably wouldn't know his name. Even with what I'm being, man, as I'm watching my brand evolve and this thing start to really catch on, a lot of the stuff that's starting to happen was things that I never even set out to have, but as a result of what I was being and doing, certain people like, wow, you want to work with me? I have celebrity clients. I have people that do XYZ that want to. It wasn't the having that I was after. If you do the being and you do the doing, the having piece takes care of itself. I gotta put my phone on the charge. It's about to die. Stop getting so wrapped up in that having, guys. If you do the being and the doing, it's impossible to be the best at something and have amazing results and the money not be there. How can you be the best basketball player in the world and be broke? Like make it make sense. How can you be the best the best musician in the world and not have money? Does that make sense? How can you be energized and motivated to eat a certain way and to live a certain lifestyle? How can you be that way and not have a certain type of body? How can you be consistent in your business? Read the books you need to read, get mentorship where you need mentorship, invest in yourself in a powerful way, and not do successful things and therefore have the results. But when you try to skip straight to that having piece, that's where the confusion ensues. That's where the problems arise. Be, do, have. Get clear about what you want. Get calibrated to what you want. Get get clear about what you want. Get calibrated to what you want. Get confident in that calibration. Competence. From that place, when you got the foundation laid, you clear, you calibrated, and you confident, take action. As Tony Robbins would say, take massive action. But before you take that massive action, I need you to get clear, calibrated, and confident. NLP, we call it having a well-formed outcome. I need you to know what you want. Some people out here taking action and they don't know what they want. I just don't want to work for nobody else. I just don't. Okay, cool. What do you want? And let me tell you something else. You allowed to change your mind. Give it your best guess. When I first started doing what I do, I thought I wanted to be booked and busy until I got booked and busy. So, oh, hell no, I don't like this. Wait, one just left. Is another one coming in, and I got to see four more today. Oh no, I don't. I don't want to be booked and busy. What do I want? Man, I want to work with 10 clients a month. I want to charge those 10 clients a month, say $2,500 a month. Those 10 people get my undivided attention though. And then I'll have groups that I put everybody else in. Maybe they're not ready to invest to the tune of 2,500 a month. I'll put those people in groups. And the thing is, I'm charging these 10 people enough that when I meet people, that I can tell they are passionate, they willing to do what it takes, they're coachable, they just don't got the money. I've charged these people enough that when I want to, I can allow people to book at a certain rate because these 10 people got the ends meet. You see what I'm saying? But the goals came from going, I don't like this. Like originally I was in the military. I was in the military, I hated it. Couldn't grow my beard, couldn't wear my nose ring, couldn't wear my earrings, couldn't grow my hair. But these days I got a lot of hair, I got a beard, I got nose rings, I got earrings. I could do what I want to do. But it was a time where I don't like this. I don't like somebody telling me what to wear every day. I'm tired of wearing camouflage. I don't like the people tell me where to live. What do I want? I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to work for myself. I want to do what I want to do. I want to wake up when I want to wake up. I want to go to bed when I want to go to bed. I don't want to talk to people before 11 a.m. Go on my website and try to book a session before 11 a.m. and watch what they do. You can't do it. You can't do it. But it took saying, "Ooh, I don't like this. What would I rather have? I'd rather have this." I'm gonna get ready to land. I'm gonna tell y'all one quick story and then we're gonna wrap up for today. So in 2013, I had two kids, and I was sitting there holding my two kids. I was holding Ralph, my son, on my left side. I was holding Riley, my daughter, on my right side. And I was looking at these two beautiful babies, and I went, "Oh man, I created them on accident. I was not trying to have no kids." Like I was just living. I was like, but wait a minute, I created these two beautiful babies on accident. If I created them on accident, what would it look like if I started creating on purpose? What if it looked like if I started getting specific about what I wanted, writing it down, and sticking to it? And my whole life changed, man. By 2015, that was the tail end of 2013. By 2015, I was living a different experience. I was living in a different house. I was driving different cars. I was having different experiences because I started living on purpose. I need you to start living on purpose. You are not an accident. You are not an accident. You had a purpose before you had a name. God is not a sloppy creator. God creates in order. God didn't give you a desire that the world and other means of bringing forth. Like when you pop open that Bible, God didn't say, "Oh, it's black void and without form, let there be Adam." Nope. Before the time He created Adam, He had somewhere for Adam to exist. He had a job for Adam to do. He had a purpose for Adam before He even created Adam. He didn't create Adam and then create Adam's purpose. He created Adam's purpose and then created Adam. It's the same way with you. God didn't create you and say, I don't know what we're gonna do with that. We'll figure it. God had a purpose for you before He created you. And those desires are going to lead you to your purpose. A lot of times people make it sound like, well, the money can't be your desire. My desire started out as a monetary desire. My original interest in hypnosis was like, wait a minute, I can control people's minds. Let me learn more about that. But as I kept going, my desires got purified as I went through the process. As I started to learn about universal laws, as I started to realize one of the most selfish things you can do is give. Because if you give, it's gonna be given, pressed down, shaken together. Like that's not just a church thing, that's a life thing. Getting and receiving are two separate ends of the same exact stick. But I gotta shower, I gotta get dressed, I gotta get into the office. So we gonna land right there. Y'all, all of the replays go onto a playlist on my if you go to the link in my bio, I believe it's the second link down to say listen to the podcast. Listen to the podcast. And this can't just be something you hear once. I want y'all to listen to these videos over and over and over. Play them in the car. Play them when you work out. Just have them playing in the house. I want you to hear this stuff over and over and over again. So we got five laws of suggestibility that we use as hypnotists. One of those laws is the law of repetition. Law of repetition simply states anything you hear over and over again, at some point it's going to sink in and you're going to start to believe. A belief is nothing but a thought that you practice over and over again. I want you to start practicing the thoughts that we talk about in here over and over. I want you to start practicing the thought that I could be doing have anything I desire. I want you to practice the thought that my only limit in life is my only imagination. I want you to think it so often that when you find yourself in situations, you go, I could be doing have anything I desire. Right now, you saying something stupid, but I don't want to be pissed off. I got other stuff to do rather than pissed off. I'm gonna use my focus in a way where I don't gotta be pissed off. Hang up on you, and I'm going over here. I could argue with you, but I'd rather go walk on the beach. I could argue with you, but I'd rather take a nap. I could argue with you, but I'd rather go for a run. I could argue with you, but I'd rather work on my business. You have fun. They could be acting a certain way at your job. I could argue with y'all. I could go back and forth because that was my promotion and I deserved it. But rather than getting wrapped up in that, I want to work on my own business. And thank you. You just gave me the fuel to pull an all nighter and get some of that done. Instead of wasting that energy arguing with you, I'm gonna use that energy on what I would rather have. We got way more choice than we give ourselves credit for. We got way more choice in life than we act like we got. Just because somebody offers an offense doesn't mean you have to be offended. Hmm? Just because somebody offers an offense doesn't mean you have to be offended. Let's sit with that and we're going to end right there. Being offended is a choice. Being happy is a choice. Sometimes it's a hard choice to make, but it's still a choice at the end of the day. But I'm going to see y'all later. I got to go.